YouTube, let me just see. I'm pretty sure that's a pretty good. Yeah, I got it horizontal tonight, so that should help. Everybody, welcome. Super Nash here is saving. Let me get him full screen because we lost a little. I had to see if I could help him.
Get on a little Russell's Reserve 13 store pick. I mean Russell's Reserve store pick.
All right, there I am. I don't care where I am. That's fine.
Share into the groups.
Yep, and you're on. All right, you're sharing to the groups. So we'll see. I'll start checking. I shared to the groups. You shared to the groups, and I'm going to check YouTube real quick, and then I'll be right back, and we'll be almost ready to go with tonight's podcast. Russell's Reserve 13-year barrel proof. Batch 5. Mine is, what is it? LL/LE. And I think yours is Russell's Reserve barrel proof, 13 barrel proof, batch 3, correct?
Correct. And let's see.
There it is.
Let's see which one mine was.
All right, we're right here. That's working good. It's looking good there. We got a live chat. Hey, Tater Dom. Good to see you. Glad that you watch us on Facebook tonight, man. We are. Tell your friends about us on YouTube too. Would love to have more people watching this live, but we appreciate.
My batch number is LL/KE.
Okay, so I'm getting off that for YouTube, and now I'm going to go over to Facebook. I'll hit that live. We got 13 watching right now, so that's really good. John Ritt says, "Hey boys, John picked me up that Illinois estate bourbon, which I'm pretty excited about. Hey, Greg Schneider's watching also. He's looking forward to. He says he was
cheers, brother.
He says he was wishing he was tasting with us tonight, but we're doing Russell's Reserve, and we will be watching the comments and talking. I poured mine a little bit ago, and I let it about 10 minutes of airing out. This bottle has been open for about 3-4 days, so I'm excited about that. I've got batch 5, so I'm going to barrel batch batch 5, and you barrel batch 3. Now, initially, I was Super Nash was able to get a batch 1 when it first came out in 2021. The first batch. So the official, what would you say, batch or release for Wild Turkey is there has only been 3 releases, but the bottles say different. So there was 3 releases, 1 in 20, and 3 releases were entered for competition. The first year, but then
3 yearly releases,
right?
And it started in April of 2021, but they did 2 in 2021. They did a release which was batch LL/JD. And then they did a release batch number 2, which was LL/JL in December of 2021. Then came batch 3 of May of 2022, which was LL/KE. And then came batch 4, which was March of 2023, LL/LC. And then now batch 5, which is LL/LE, May of 2023 this year.
Yeah, we got that covered, right? So it's like
that's sort of the difference.
Well, you'll have to
year releases, but 2 in 2 years and 1 in 1 year.
Yeah, we'll have to cover that on the actual podcast. And because tonight's going to be a short one, we're doing one. We're doing Russell's Reserve one bottle or 2 batches, but the 2 of us have 1 each. We're going to barrel bash it and get out of here for that. We're going to have a Thursday podcast with CT doing mixed drinks for the holiday. So that's kind of cool. So I hope everybody's watching for that one.
Hope everybody tunes in for that.
But what we're going to do is we're going to get this rolling tonight. Thanks for watching, Craig. If you want to chime in at one point with the Russell's Reserve 13, you can at any time. We'll be watching that. So what I want to do is just get this running. Our normal thing, once I did all the checks, everything's going good. I can hear everything. So we're going to start recording. You're going to hear a 30-second delay, and we're going to go into our theme song, and then we'll start this podcast. Russell's Reserve 13-year barrel proof bourbon, batch 5 and 3. All right, so here we go.
Drinking bourbon, sipping on some scotch. We've been in a while, but it's sure fun to watch. We love what we do, we're drinking every brew. Man, we talk some shit, but we're telling the truth. Yeah, we're the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, raising hell and making some noise. Yeah, we're the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, we're here to have fun and we hope you enjoy. We're here to have fun. Yeah.
Woo! Yes, we are back for another podcast of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. We got a bunch of people watching on Facebook Live. We got people watching on YouTube Live. Things are starting to rock and roll for us lately. And we've got
Tiny in the house.
And we got Super Nash here also. You can see us on Facebook Live flashing back and forth because we do the single speaker thing going lately. It seems to entertain people a little bit more for what's going on. Welcome, Super Nash. I'm so glad. The only reason why this podcast is happening is because of you anyways.
Nah.
What do you mean?
You know, we'd have something to podcast about if I wasn't here.
But not this Russell's, not this batch. I said, you know how much I love Russell's 13. You also know, you absolutely know. And I asked if you could get me one. You got me one. We did I traded you for it, and it was just fantastic. And I'm glad that it's here. I've got it poured, but just right, and it's poured. It's been aerated, and now it's got its cover sitting so that we can taste it. I'm going to barrel batch batch 5, and he's going to barrel batch 3, and we'll kind of compare the two. I've had batch 3, and I've had batch 5, and I've had batch 1 so far. So it's kind of excellent. My batch 3 is my batch 1 is sitting up there. And then my batch 3. And then I've also got a little treat here because I got a Russell's 13, Reserve 13 from a private barrel pick from the Wisco Bourbon people. So he gave me a little bit of that to bring along when I was there. And then also just remember we're the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, www.scotchybourbonboys.com for all your Scotchy Bourbon Boys needs. And then also you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X, and then also all the major podcast formats. No matter what you do, listen, leave feedback, and then also give us good reviews. It's very appreciated if you can do that, especially on Apple. It leads to more people listening. So if you can give us a good review, we would appreciate it. We've got the holidays coming up. So this is Tuesday, December 5th, the night of St. Nick, actually. So St. Nick's supposed to come tonight. He came early for me. Super Nash just keeps sending shit up to me, and I just keep opening it, and just St. Nick's been here. Plus, then there's a bunch of stuff for Christmas. But also, Jennifer, cheers. Thanks for watching, that's for sure. And then
also, cheers to Caravaggio de Santa Isabel. He is one of our best followers, man. He is super cool. And just want to say cheers, Caravaggio.
Yeah, and Greg said he had last year's and it was very good. Last year's was good. The first year was insane. Last year's was very good, but this year's is the one that won double gold. So batch 5 won double gold. So you could go on the website, see all the different batches, and each year it's done better and better. And I mean, the one thing that I got to say is that the price went up more and more each year. I mean, the first year was a steal, right? Wouldn't you say that was a steal?
Oh
I mean, this year, this batch MSRP, I believe, is $159.99, if I'm not mistaken. Or was it $199? It could have been $199. I don't know. I wasn't able to actually see it on the shelf, but it was extremely more expensive than when I think it first started out. I think it was under
$159.99.
Yeah, $159.99. I think when it first started out, it was $79.99, or it could have even been $69.99, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
but
yeah, back when it first started out, actually, when it first started the first year, I want to say it was $79.99 that I gave for my first bottle.
Okay, there you go. So, and then
$80,
and then also, just remember, everybody, our it's like I said, December 5th, but our Christmas party, which is Friday, December 15th, 7 p.m. at the Gervasi Still House here in Canton, Ohio. We have a lot of people coming into town for this. The Scotchy Bourbon Boys is going to be meeting there. There's going to be giveaways. There's going to be all different types of giveaways. We've got, I believe, Andy. Why am I having a mental block? Help me out here, Nash.
Andrew Camden?
Yeah, Andy Camden. He basically is donating a barrel head to give away. We've got Walker. He's donating a bottle. You're donating many bottles. There's going to be a lot of.
I got some surprises. There might be, you might think it might be a bottle.
No, I could tell.
Be like several bottles.
It looked like that there could be in one. It looked like it could be some bourbon body wash and shampoo.
You're just saying that because I tricked you.
Yeah, you did one time. Yes, you did. You tricked me. It was a good trick. Anyways, but looking forward to that party. I hope everybody can make it. This is going to be fun. There's going to be good pours. Mike Aleferton.
Yeah, absolutely. And also there's going to be some cigars going along because there's a smoking lounge outside Gervasi out there.
Yeah, and I've got my Cigar Labs Caper Dry system. These little inserts that go on a cigar and make
I ordered me some too.
Yeah, me too. I got another coming.
Lab, yeah.
But there's these little inserts that go on the bottom of your cigar, and honestly, everybody on YouTube and on Facebook can see them. But these inserts go at the bottom, and what they do is they even out the smoke going into your mouth. It also deals with your saliva interacting with, it interacts with this wood instead of interacting with the tobacco. And then the next day, you don't have that disgusting cigar mouth that you taste the whole day. Now, some people like that, but I'm not a fan of that. So, I just keep going with that. So we're going to have cigars, bourbon. There's going to be hors d'oeuvres. There's light fare for anybody who wants to eat. That that's you. It's all going to be a cash bar, of course, and cash, but they have the light fare, and then, like I said, the pours are going to be good and reasonable. Michael Aleferton is the bartender there. Sean is the manager, and we've got it all set up. But Mike, he is actually. I got to put it. If you go to my Facebook, Jeffrey Mueller, I posted today. I posted CR code so that you can get to his bar competition. He wants to be the bartender of the year and get out it for a magazine. And so if everybody could go there, you're allowed one vote a day. And I would love to vote him into that because he is a fantastic bartender. He makes he's got a couple special holiday drinks he's going to be making for us there, and have a special on that. And yeah, Jennifer, I can't wait. We're looking forward to it too. So there we go. That's the holiday party, but also Super Nat.
Right.
What's the whole group is going to be up. We got Whiskey, we got CT, we got Super Nash, myself, Roxy. We're all going to be at there. We are going to be podcasting our holiday podcast, which will lead into our Bourbon of the Year podcast. They're going to kind of and then we'll release those going forward. So we've got a full slate starting Thursday night, and then after that, we're headed down to Columbus, Springfield, and Kentucky. And we are going to be running all over the place, having an absolute blast.
Early Saturday morning, going
all the way till Monday.
Sunday night. Hopefully topping it off late Sunday evening at our friend and Greg Snyder's, right?
No, that's late Sunday night. But then when
that's what I said, late Sunday night.
But we're going to try and top it off at the Spirit of French Lick, because we're going to be in Indiana. It's only an hour away. Makes sense. Wake up on Monday, hit French Lick in the morning, and then head home. So it's something to think about. Cool. That sounds like see our good friend Alan Bishop. I haven't seen him in a while. We'll set up that next barrel pick that we're going to be doing coming up. So, all right. Yeah. So Greg says, yes, for sure, Greg. We will chat about when we can see you. All right, so let's get into this. I'm so excited. This is one of my favorites. I'm hoping that after I open this bottle, I sipped a little bit right off the bat on the next. Yes, there will be bourbon balls at the party actually tonight. We're going to be rolling some. We got so many batches, but this current batch we're making right now is Michter's for the bourbon balls. So everybody know that they're going to also be for sale.
I just want to say that usually. That's what I get roped into doing on Thursday afternoon after I get there, and he ropes me into making about 200 dozen of those bourbon balls.
Yep.
So they'll get them finished up in time for us to start the party.
Yep. So there'll be bourbon balls for everybody to snack on, and then also they'll be for sale. So that's with that said, we should get to this Russell Reserve now. The Russell's Reserve is always from the start. It's just my taste palette, and Eddie and Jimmy have done amazing job with this. I love Rare Breed, so you're talking about their barrel strength, which is caramely, and then you're taking that mash and taking it all the way to 13 years. And that's the youngest in the batch. So there's other older bourbons in there that you could tell by the rich color. I think this is the darkest batch of all the three of them. It's just so rich, and the barrel strength, and it's 114.8. It's 100. It's been
this batch 3 up.
Yep.
Against it too, so it's pretty dark too.
Yeah, it's dark, but that looks a little red, and this is pulling off that brownish color that it actually gets to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have to agree.
And everybody that's been tasting this, it's not the same. It's a much more richer bourbon flavor and not as sweet as the last couple batches, but there's a whole hell of a lot between a dessert bourbon, in my opinion, where it's really caramely and sweet, to where you get back to it still has enough sugar, but at the same time it is has enough sugar, but it doesn't have enough. What would you say? It has enough sugar, but not too much. A lot of batches sometimes have too much sugar. Not that I don't like that, but there's a balance between it tasting like bourbon with some sugar, or the sugar starts to take over, which in a lot of cases with whiskey is fine. That's awesome. But in this case, they backed it off a little bit, and it was spectacular results. So with that said, why don't you start giving us some info on Russell's Reserve 13-year? A little back. You got any backstory, or it's just all info?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go, Nash.
Russell's Reserve 13-year. Oh, let's see. Here we go. All right. So, what does a Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame master distiller give to his father? Another Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame master distiller on Father's Day? Well, this isn't a trick question. So, of course, the answer is a specially selected Kentucky bourbon. And since those are legendary father and son duo at Wild Turkey, the bourbon in question is the Russell's Reserve 13-year-old Kentucky Straight Bourbon. We're reviewing the third and latest release, actually the fifth release today. And one can argue that Jimmy Russell is Wild Turkey. He has worked there for almost 70 years and counting, of it is as master distiller. His son Eddie began with the company in 1981, working with his way up to master distiller too. He began creating tribute bottlings to his father, the first of which was released in 1998. He crafted the first Russell's Reserve, also a 13-year-old Kentucky Straight Bourbon, in honor of his father, Jimmy, for Father's Day in 2021. Over the years, he has created more singular bottlings and regular releases under his label, though the 13-year-old is the personal favorite of Eddie's. Regular releases include a 10-year-old bourbon and a 6-year-old rye. A limited release last year included a single Rickhouse Expression, which was from the decommissioned Camp Nelson C. Rickhouse. And today, the Russell's Reserve is in line with the Wild Turkey family. Father and son shared duties assembling the releases. Working together seems a natural development since Eddie's entire career has been spent alongside his father. And let's see. So this goes on to tell about the third release, which I've got.
Okay. Yeah. And just know that all that backstory Greg Schneider referred to as BS.
Exactly.
And Greg Schneider, he goes, not tonight. No need to discuss further. Not tonight, for sure. But at the same time, Greg Schneider does know. He knows what's BS and what isn't, because, you know, he was the one with that Russell's Reserve that he knows that story. We've had that story, but let's keep going on batch 3.
And just so you know, Greg, I have to pull what I can get from the media, but we know the truth. Thank you, brother. Right. So you want to go on a little bit about batch 3, or you want to talk about your batch?
Let's do batch. 5. You talk about batch 3, and then talk about batch 5, and then we'll barrel batch them together and come up with the score.
All right. Well, let's see. This 13-year-old is back up here. His third release of Russell's Reserve 13-year-old Kentucky Straight Bourbon. Robust seems to be the goal. The releases are bottled at barrel proof and non-chill filter to keep the character of the barrel, resulting in a more robust mouthfeel per Eddie Russell. To add to the full-bodied mouthfeel, the distillery notes and the Russell's Reserve is distilled at a lower ABV, meaning less water is added before barreling, resulting in robust whiskey. The mash bill is the same for all Wild Turkey releases and uses all non-GMO American-grown grains. Although Wild Turkey won't verify the recipe, the general consensus is that the mash bill for the straight bourbon is 75% corn, 13% rye, and 12% malted barley. Per the distillery, the whiskey is described as a distinctive sip, exhibiting sweet and woody notes that give way to rich flavors of honey, chocolate, and nougat throughout, and a smoky charred note on the palate and finish. It sounds thoughtfully decadent and powerfully drawn. Let's taste. And let's see, the tasting notes for this.
Holy man.
Well,
for batch 5.
Actually, we'll go on to the nose. Initial aromas, according to this, and this is, I'm getting this from the Whiskey Wash.
Is this batch 5 now?
No, this is from batch 3.
Okay.
Yeah, on the nose, initial aromas of moderate intensity, but complex. The aromas of orchard fruit, ripe green pears, rose oil, cherry blossom, and some oxidative and savory notes like fried pork belly, coffee, and shoe polish. Smells tasty, though it takes a hearty inhale to capture these aromas. With time, the aromatics unfurl a touch, showing aromas of vanilla wafer cookies, mint chocolate ice cream. The savory character keeps the more decadent notes in check. Very pretty, though I wouldn't mind it if it was more aromatic. How more aromatic can you get with those,
Those notes. That's a lot.
notes that they gave?
Yep.
Wow.
So what do you got as far as 5?
All right, let me pull up 5 here.
I'm telling you, the nose on this is spectacular. It's a really good, it's the kind of nose I want on a bourbon. It's what I want. Oh my God, that's total. Oh. And it's really cool because I keep putting my cover on. And as I hit it again, one here, one there. There's a lot of, hey, Ross is watching. Welcome, Ross. Glad to have you watching. We're well into this wild turkey, but we have wild turkey. This Russell's Reserve 13 year batch 5. Nash is about to read on that, what he's got for the notes. So let's get going. 13 year with 15 and 21. He says this latest batch as 13 year base. Joe Roseman saying with a 15 year and a 21 year. So yeah, I can smell that. I'm smelling that. The nose on this is spectacular. Did you lose your 5s?
Yeah.
I mean, you only showed it to me before. Ross says,
oh
hola.
my gosh.
Thank you, Joe, for that on the 15 year and the 21 year, because honestly, I really feel this one is a much more, compared to the last ones, they've added in a bourbon with some Rickhouse action going on there as far as not the, like I always say.
Here we go.
Okay, here we go.
Let's see. As far as tasting notes, lots of age. The nose, lots of age character, sweet and woody with notes of dark dried fruit, chocolate, honey, caramel, nougat, and brown sugar. On the palate, sweet and warming, dried dark fruit notes, complete with charred confectionery notes and charred marshmallow and burnt brown sugar.
That's the.
On the
what was the first one? The nose.
The nose was lots of age character, sweet and woody with notes of dark dried fruit, chocolate, honey, caramel, nougat, and brown sugar.
Okay, and then so let's go to the taste then.
And on the taste, the palate, sweet and warming, dried dark fruit notes, complete with charred confectionery notes of charred marshmallow and burnt brown sugar.
Okay, and then
on the finish, smoky campfire, warming, long, and lingering. And these tasting notes were provided by Wild Turkey.
Well, I'm telling you, there's a lot of stuff that's really close in there. I mean, the nose. The only thing I'll add to this nose is that when you were talking about on the last one, those cherry blossoms, there's a cherry aspect to this that is very rich. This is the nose here, although in when we barrel bash, and I'll get into this because we're about to barrel bash.
Let me give you a couple more things.
Okay.
And as they say, this is just they won't give the actual mash bill, but this is the general consensus: 75% corn, 13% rye, 12% malted barley, and this is 114.8 proof that you're drinking.
Okay. Yeah, and all 5 of them have been 114.8 proof.
Yeah.
They bring them out and they take them. They say barrel proof. It's barrel proof, but they basically adjust them all to be 114.8. I would say I'm not complaining about a 114.8 proof. Are you from a barrel proof on their batches? So, are we ready?
I think so.
So the Scotchy Bourbon Boys barrel bashing system or barrel bashing rating system is based off of bashing on a barrel. Our barrel is Spirit of French Lick, William Dalton, 3 French Oak Stay finished barrel. With 15 and 21-year-old, hope it's not too overwooded. No, Greg, this one is not too overwooded. Oh, the way I can describe Bill, 73 is the only recipe that, okay, so that is Greg Schneider verifying 75-13-12 is the only recipe that Wild Turkey uses. That's Greg Schneider.
Thanks, Greg.
Yeah, thanks. That is on some pretty damn good authority on the mash bill right there. Thanks, Greg.
Before you go any further, I've got one more thing about my batch 3 that I found out.
Okay.
This is comprised of 41 barrels of a 20-year, 41 barrels of a 20-year, 17 barrels of an 18-year, and the rest being 15-year and 14-year barrels from warehouses CNA, CND, and CNE.
All right, there you go. If you found that on 5, that would be great, but I don't think you got that. So, anyways,
I couldn't get any more on 5. I looked and looked and looked when I was trying to find out what what barrels made up 5, but couldn't find anybody that would give me that.
All right, so our barrel bashing scale is based off of 4 categories. 2 categories, which is finish and taste, are more important to us as we've evolved, and therefore you can get up to 5 barrel bashes per category there. But the other 2 categories, which is body, mouthfeel, and also nose, I always go up. You can get 4 in those categories for a total of 18. But as Roxy made famous, we have a But Up. And the But Up is an addition to 1 category that may be exceptional so that you can add 1 more point. So the total of a perfect bourbon for the Scotchy Bourbon Boys would be a 19 of 18, the actual score. So, and they discovered them late in maturation life. He says he's got to believe those barrels got lost in inventory. That's what Greg Schneider says. It makes sense, but at the same time, we are getting into some of the depth. So maybe they were put aside by somebody right as it was starting. We're getting 2015 to this started like in 2012, and maybe somebody, I'm not saying Eddie or Jimmy, but someone else realized that you want to start putting stuff back. But anyways, all right. So I'm going to do the nose first, and then you do the nose of yours.
And I gotta say that
my God.
They are in 2024. They are going to release a Russell's Reserve 15-year.
Ooh, yeah. Who knows?
They've already created a label for it, and I did find that, but I didn't have time to print it. All
right. The nose on batch 5, which we also knew based off of what he was saying, was he said that there's a 13 with 15 and 21 year in batch 5. The nose on this, based off of your tasting notes, is pretty much. I pick up a little bit of cherry. I pick up the char, which is like a marshmallow. I pick up a little bit of oak char, it's sweet oak. But I'm telling you, I can smell this all day. That's how you know what a really good bourbon is, when you nose it and you don't want to stop smelling it. There's certain things that I just like, for instance, Starbucks breakfast blend. I can take ground up Starbucks breakfast blend and squeeze the air out of the package and I can just smell that for a long time. It doesn't taste the same when you brew it, but the smell of that coffee, and that's what this bourbon's doing to me right now. So I'm just going to tell you, it gets a 4 with a But Up. It's exceptional. An exceptional nose. 5 point for me. What do you got on your nose? I'm excited. That started off, and I talk about it doesn't have the great, the first category isn't the most important, but it is exciting when it's really good. Hopefully the taste matches.
Getting like sweet plums and brown sugar.
Yeah.
There's a little oakiness off of this one.
I remember there was a little bit more than batch one.
Yeah.
But not a lot.
Not a lot. I mean, for a 13-year. I have to give mine a 4.
All right.
I can't give it. It's not enough to push it to that badump bump, but I got to give it a 4.
All right. Let's go with body. Look at that baby in your glass. Oh, can I do it? Yep. I'm gonna roll it. I got this set up to roll. There you go. Roll her around. Roll it around once. Roll it. Bring it up. Oh, it's wow. Look at you can see
I
it.
got just a slight bit much for a roll on mine, but
Yeah, but I'm looking at complete coverage and the legs have not started yet. It's crazy. I'm waiting. I mean, when it sticks like this at the top, like the whole thing, it just, and then you know how this works as
yours is thicker than mine.
Yeah, this is
mine start. Takes a second, but then they start, and then they're a little bit thinner once they start.
Mine has not started.
Oh,
that's how. Oh, there it is, and they're thick. Wow, are they wide? That's crazy how it just appears, isn't it? Wow, as it runs back down into the glass. They are a little bit, they're not as thick as some, but wow. There we go. All right. So let's give this a taste. What's the I like the viscosity of it on the glass.
Okay.
Wow. All right. So body, I can't ask for much more. I know it's a barrel strength. It's at 114.8. There's no place I'm not tasting this. Under tongue, roof of my mouth, and cheeks.
Matt Lison's watching us.
All right. Hey, Matt. Good to see you. So I got to give this a 4. Bashing that French oak, Spirit of French lick, French oak stave, not Maddie Gladden, but William Dalton barrel back there. Like to thank the Spirit of French Lick for their sponsorship, and then also Alan Bishop. And remember, Alan Bishop does, if you have Ghosts, you have Everything podcast, and also the One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute. If you want to check out either one of those, one's on YouTube, the Distilling Institute, and the other one's on all the podcast formats. So what you got on your body?
I have to give mine a 4 too. I mean, it's a very nice body on it.
This is such a good.
Still a nice thickness to it.
So this one compared to the other batches. The other batches were caramel dominated. It was like sucking on a caramel candy. This one has added back the wood or the bourbon flavor that of what I like to call, like when you're in a rick house and you smell. It is just similar to what Booker's has done on their batch, their Mighty Fine batch, but this one is more of this 13-year, 21-year, there's a richness to it and actual balance to it that's amazing. All the flavors I mean, I get the currant, I get the cherry, I get the caramel on the front, maybe a little bit of apple way in the back palate, and then it goes to a little bit of
Get a little bit of
char
apple on the back palate of mine.
And let's see. I don't know how the finish. I haven't thought of the finish. All right. So I can
think of it. We're doing taste right now, right?
Right. Yeah. It's taste. Mikey V just bought your batch 3. Mikey, good batch. Good. Well, are you doing batch 3, or are you thinking you bought batch 3 and it's batch 5? Because 2020 had the release, or 2021 had the release of one batch. Then 2022 had 2 and 3, and 2023 has had 4 and 5. So it's when you just bought batch 3, have you bought the current batch? Because that is batch 5, which is called batch 5. It came from different rick houses, and it was that batch is called LLLE, right? Batch 5 LLLE.
That's what I was looking to pull up my sheet to have the batches in the years here. Well, I'm pulling that up, and I believe you got that right. What are you going to rate that? There we go. All right, Mikey.
Taste-wise, this is really good. But
2022, if that's a 2022 release, that was the only release with a LL/KE during May of 2022. 2021 had 2 releases, and 2023 had 2 releases.
Okay.
Yeah, you are correct, Jeff.
All right. So, I really like this bourbon a lot. But in comparison, there's a lot of Rickhouse flavor in it, which is like Cave Hill, which I like. But it's lacking a little bit, just a little bit of the caramel that I love. I want more caramel butterscotch flavors. That's why I loved that Russell's. I would just have liked a little bit more. So I am going to give this a 4 for taste.
You know what I'm picking up off of this?
Caramel.
Batch 3.
What?
Caramel, butterscotch,
yep.
Vanilla, cherry, plum, raisins. And then I shouldn't be talking about the finish, but gosh, and then it carries over. Somehow all that just changes if you get this apple and almost a little bit of strawberry. This is such a complex taste on this one right here, and that's why I love this batch 3, and I know you did too, because you couldn't leave your bottle alone. Every chance you got to taste that batch 3 that I sent up to you, you were sipping on it. Because every time I turned around, we were doing look what I'm sipping on.
Yeah,
look what I'm sipping.
It was gone. It's sitting up there.
The bottle was empty.
It was so delicious. And then the original Russell's Reserve was a caramel vanilla bomb. He's talking about not even the 13-year, but at 101 proof. But batch 1 of the 13-year, Greg, was also a caramel vanilla bomb. And last year, the one that actually Nash is on, that one to me was a caramel, almost butterscotch bomb. Where this, I like the finish. I was just sitting here analyzing the finish while you were thinking about what you're going to give the taste, your taste.
I'm going to have to give it a 4 with a butt-ump because
a 5 with the butt-up?
Yeah, 5.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Because this, I promise, is one of the most complex tastes in a bourbon. everything that I ever wanted to taste out of a bourbon
is in
you can pull out of it.
Yeah, I agree.
Each time you sip on
There's
it.
some people that are like disappointed somewhat in comparatively to this batch from the last two or
I've
this
read
batch,
that in a lot of reviews.
But
on the batch 5, there were some things that they thought were left out on the batch 5. But yeah, I like this batch 3.
But if you're a bourbon fan, like you love the taste of bourbon, not the taste of bourbon that's been hyped up with caramel and butterscotch, but the actual taste of bourbon whiskey. This is what they brought this back to. Now, what's really cool on the finish is there's a peppery aspect that I've never tasted on, and it's just a little bit. And then as far as the finish goes,
just like to say, Greg, I wish I was there for the original Russell's Reserve when it came out and you guys developed it. I can only imagine what you guys were tasting.
So the finish on this is long. It sticks. It starts out with burnt brown sugar, like burnt brown sugar. Okay. And then it goes to a burnt marshmallow. I actually tasted a campfire burnt marshmallow. And I have to say, because of the uniqueness of this, I absolutely love the finish and I love the nose. I think they're exceptional. I think the body is what I expect out of a Russell. It's just on the actual taste. There's some flavors in there that are really good. But the standard of Russell's Reserve 13 year, it's not meeting those standards. It went in a different direction. So, like, if you were hoping that you're keeping it, Greg Schneider. Oh, you said that. All right. So, anyways, I'm gonna go with on this finish. I am impressed. It's long. It lingers. It lingers with toasted marshmallow. It also starts off with brown sugar and a little spice. I mean, this is more of a bourbon than Russell's Reserve was when what you're drinking. This is a manly bourbon. This is what somebody who wants to drink bourbon, not interested in all the fancy frou-frou flavors and everything. This is what you want to drink. This is what I believe. Let's just say Jimmy's still helping make this. And I guarantee you, if Booker was here, he would be giving this a high 5. This batch, more so than the other batches, because the other batches are pulling way more caramel and butterscotch, where that's not what they were. I'm sure they passed on a bunch of those. Wouldn't you say, Nash? They passed on a bunch of. They did not make the bourbon sweeter. When you taste those Dusties, you're not picking. You pick up that cherry flavor. You pick up that you pick up the essence of the rick house, the oak, and all the different things around it, and all the terroir and all that. And that's what this is. This has brought back to more like a Booker's, but I will give this finish a 5. Oh. I hope I don't one day bash that barrel so much we do a broken barrel. Yeah, it was delicious. The finish was fantastic. It's a fantastic finish. But the taste, like I said, is just lacking what I was hoping for.
This, to me, on batch 3,
jealous
was where I think on the finish
is where it was a little short.
Exactly. You knew what I was going to say.
No, I remember having it last year and thinking about, and then it was over. It's like you had to drink the whole bottle in one sitting just to keep the finish going.
Totally agree. And that's why I've got to give the finish a 3. And I mean,
ooh,
yeah. I can't give it a 4 because, like I say, it's lacking. It's lacking there. It's lacking a little bit on the hug. For 114 proof, it should give you just a little bit more hug. You know, you should feel a little bit more. You should have a little bit more mouthfeel.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm not getting that. You know what I mean?
So your addition comes out to 3. You are you giving it 1 less the most? Because you could give the finish a total of 5. You're backing off 2, or are you backing off 1? If you're back, what do you think you're backing off when you said it? I have no problem with you giving it a 3 because I agree it was short, but
I'm actually backing off 2 because, like I said, it's because it's not getting that rating. Because that's where it's lacking. It just slows down. All your flavors, once they start hitting the back of the throat, they dissipate quickly. No, it doesn't warm you. It don't give you that warm, good feeling like you should be getting. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then the flavors, they quickly go away, and you're having to pick them up as they go quickly, and like I say, it's not hitting the full sides and the roof. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, I know exactly what you mean.
So that's why I gotta give a 3.
All right, so you're
I can't push it any higher than
6 is 9, and then you were 4, which is 13, and you were 5. So you were 18. And
I'm 4.
No, you were 4, 5. No, 4 is all you could give it. 8. And then a 5 plus a but up
3.
So a 6. So 8, 6, 14. So you gave it a 17 out of 18. And I was a but up for a 5, a 4 is a 9. Then I went with a 4, which is 13, and a 5 on the finish, which is an 18. So this batch of 5, based off of how it went, although it wasn't a 6 on the taste, it was a 4 on the taste, still overall surpassed the 3, because I gave 5 and 18 and you gave 3 a 17. So there you go, folks. I mean, this is how whiskey works, and it's just our opinion. Everybody,
this is just our palates, and
I mean, all the batches come through, right? I mean, don't they come through?
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't wait for you to taste this. This does not it's, even though it's 18 out of 18, this is not in the running for what I've been doing for Bourbon of the Year. It won't be one of my 2 picks. It's up there. It was there, but tonight we analyzed it, and I really think I need a 5 on the taste to get into there, because there's probably 3 or 4 other ones I have to narrow it down, but I really appreciate you narrowing it down tonight. But Greg Schneider was saying that in March that they are planning some chicken cock whiskey dinners in Columbus, which I'm in on. I mean, just get my reservation for me right now, Greg. And then also know that try not to make those dinners late March, because that is the New Orleans Bourbon Festival that we've been invited, Super Nash, myself, CT, and Whiskey, to come down to New Orleans and kind of party and cover the New Orleans Whiskey Festival. And so we will be gone, I believe, the 24th, which is a Wednesday, March 24th, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I'm hoping those aren't at the end of the month and that they're at the beginning, because if they are, I will.
Greg will be in NOLA too.
Yeah. So obviously they will not overlap. So that's awesome. Awesome. All right.
Yeah. Sounds cool.
Do you have anything else to add there, Super Nash?
Oh, I think that pretty much covers it, except for thank you to Russell's.
Yep,
Wild Turkey.
Jimmy, Eddie, and Bruce are doing some nice things there. I know that
Jimmy and Eddie.
What? I know, but Bruce is doing some nice things
Bruce,
too. I
yeah.
gave them all. I didn't say that was this, but he's doing some things. That Rick House, what is it called? The Rick House Reserve?
Single
Rick House.
Rick House, yeah.
Ooh, 320.
Comes from Warehouse C, which was decommissioned, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. So, and CT was able to get a bottle of that, and it is
he got it signed,
and it is being shopped around that at the Christmas party or the week, the podcasts leading up to the Christmas party, that might be in the running for Bourbon of the Year. So the only way that we're going to be able to taste that is if CT brings that up, and I think he's bringing it up, and then we're going to... So the way that, real quick, the way the Bourbon of the Year is going to work is that each one of us, Roxy, Whiskey, and Whiskey might not be able to make it, but he's going to be able to put his entry in. Super Nash, CT, and myself.
Warehouse C was falling down. That's why it was decommissioned.
Yeah, I think the day that CT bought it, he went over in front of the Rick House that was falling down, and he took a picture of the falling down Rick House behind it. It was really kind of a cool picture. So anyways, my thing is that we're going to have 10, each person has 10 entries. Roxy's only putting one in. She already has two for a total of 9 actually, because she's only putting one in. In the morning, we are going to narrow everybody's down to 1 so that we have 5 entries. 1 entry is going to be 100% the Ocean's Weeded Voyage number 29, because that is Roxy's entry, and that's her only one, so she doesn't have to narrow down shit. But we're going to blind all 5 of them on the second podcast for Bourbon of the Year. We're going to rate each one 1 to 5 between amongst us all. And then, based off the number...
We're going to rate the other 8, right?
What? No.
Rate the other 8?
No, 5.
Roxy's is already in there?
Yeah, hers is in, and the other 4... we'll have it narrowed down in the first podcast. The Christmas podcast will narrow each one down. So we put each one of us put 1 in. We pick our best each one. And then once we have it narrowed, we're going to blind them on the second podcast for our Bourbon of the Year. And the way that the rating's going to work is each person will rank the 5 bourbons that they're blind tasting 1 through 5. And then we'll put the numbers together and see how it works. If there's a tie, it goes into a face-off between the bourbons that are a tie. So we will have our Bourbon of the Year. The rules are, it has to be a bourbon. It can be a bourbon based off of, it doesn't matter whether Jack Daniels calls itself Tennessee whiskey, it qualifies as a bourbon. So any Jack Daniels that hasn't been manipulated or, finished to make it not bourbon, it's still a bourbon. Also, it can't be a finished bourbon that disqualifies it from being a bourbon. It can be finished in a French oak cask, a French oak staves, similar to what Maker's Mark does with their staves. They still qualify as bourbons. So as long as it qualifies through the process as a bourbon, you can pick it. But just know, for instance, the Heaven Hill... I
don't even want to get into that after last year's fiasco. Wouldn't let me put my Maker's Mark stave profile in.
Right now...
We had to put all of the stave profiles
in. If
I wanted to enter one.
All I got to say is you can enter whatever you want as long as it qualifies as bourbon. It can't. CT was saying, what about Little Book? Well, there's rye in it, and it's like not 50. It's obviously not 51% corn. It's got rye and malt whiskey, which makes those higher than what So overall, if it qualifies as a bourbon, not American whiskey. Now,
anyway,
Super Nash came up with next year.
Let's wrap this up.
We're ready to go
up tonight.
But Super Nash came up with oh, we should basically make it so that we have a whiskey of the year and whatever. And I'm like, yeah, you got time for that? So anyways, there you go. That's what that's going to be. It's coming up. Thank you everybody for watching tonight. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it. Thank you,
YouTube.
Thank you,
Facebook Live. We appreciate everybody that tunes in and just gives us a little bit of time. And if you got time, give us a comment and leave your review of what we do. Let us know what we're doing so we can kind of make it better for you.
Yep. Thanks
for us.
Thanks everybody for watching.
Help me help Tiny. Be a better man.
Jump in a lake there, Nash. And I had some other words that I was thinking, but I'm not using them. All right. So everybody, thank you for watching tonight. Remember,
absolutely,
we're the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. He already went through all that stuff about the social media and whatnot, but remember, good bourbons equals good times and good friends.
Good friends.
Drink responsibly.
Absolutely.
Don't drink and drive, and make sure you live dangerously. All right.
Live your life. Period.
Yep. And little Steve-O's going to take us out.
All right. Thanks again, everybody. Cheers.
Cheers, Greg.
Thanks, Greg.
It was great. Yep. Great to see you.
Absolutely. Look forward to seeing you.
Bring that with you, Matt.
Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar.
I have to agree. That's a good one.
Don't ask why. Oh,
later, John.
Appreciate you tuning in.
If we don't find the next whiskey bar, I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die.
All right. Let me quick. At least I remember doing this time. I have a question. We're still Facebook Live, and I'm gonna save this to. I kind of remember doing it this time, but let's just
1 hour and 2 minutes isn't bad.
Publish to uploading. Actually, it was 56 minutes of the actual podcast.
Okay.
Russell's.
I was just looking at my time on the on my phone. It says 9:33 now.
Team here. Scotchy Bourbon Boys save. I'm boiling in this jacket. I got to take this jacket off.
I bet. Oh my God, your jacket? What? You got a long sleeve shirt and a t-shirt? What's the temp up there?
Outside right now, I'll give it probably, I'd say 34.
34? They're calling for snow showers here.
We've had snow showers all day.
Yeah.
But nothing substantial.
Okay. Cool.
Oh, that feels good. Throw that on the back. This jacket is pretty damn. I love this jacket.
It's cool. That's a bomber leather jacket.
I wanted that for 15 years. I've been talking about getting one, and I finally saved all the patches up and got one.
Awesome.
That's all because of Roxy. Give her credit on that.
Awesome.
All right. So I'm just waiting for the episode to build.
I'm going to start packaging up hers tomorrow.
Whose?
Roxy's.
Roxy's what?